Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, Friday afternoon. Interesting. We're out doing stuff in the yard. You can see I'm a little sweaty. Whose fault is it? Right? Okay. It's amazing. You know, we all remember this from when we were kids. And I mean, I know I had this happen with my brother all the time. You know, we'd get in trouble, and my parents would always look to one of us to see who started it or whatever, whose fault it was. And inevitably, what you go back to we were taught when we were kids was personal responsibility. And it's really funny because in the world today, there is no personal responsibility. It's always somebody else's fault. The decisions you make are never your fault. You know, as we've said many times, you know, your actions have consequences. All these protesters at all these universities are starting to learn that. Oh, you're getting arrested. Oh, you got kicked out of school. Oh, you can't graduate. But. Well, you should have thought about that before you started doing stupid stuff, right? You know, gee, how's what I do today going to affect me tomorrow? And you're not going to be able to go, gee, I'm going to sue somebody. You know, the woman who spilled coffee in her lap at McDonald's years and years ago set a terrible precedent, blaming McDonald's for her carelessness. And unfortunately, the courts agreed, and we wound up in an extremely litigious society, which just got worse and worse and worse. You know, I'll give you a couple examples that are in the news today. Apparently, there's a woman who is suing the state of Hawaii because the state didn't tell her husband that at his weight, being unexperienced in snorkeling, that maybe he shouldn't have gone snorkeling and eventually died. I forget what the acronym of it, drowned from the inside, okay? Because he didn't have the proper training. He didn't, you know, he wasn't in the proper health to participate in something like that. It wasn't his fault for not researching this, just figuring, hey, I want to do it, therefore I can. It was the state's fault because nobody from the state told him, posted a sign, you know, made him read a disclaimer. I mean, how many disclaimers do you get online? You want to use this software? Here, read this 92-page document and click at the bottom, you're okay with it. Honestly, how many people read those? Okay, you want to use the software, you click yes, you go on. You've covered them legally, you screwed yourself. Okay, read them. We see that all the time. Then there was a story on the other side of the fence, and this one I enjoyed. There was a kid, one of these protesters again, that thought he would go spray paint Free Hamas all over the World War I monument in New York. And so you had damage to it. What happened? Well, the police took the report. The state posted something online or whatever saying, you know, there's a investigation into who did this. They showed pictures or whatever. And guess what? His dad turned him in. Now the kid is facing 2 felony charges of criminal mischief and 2 misdemeanor charges of graffiti. Okay? Good for the dad. The dad raised this kid. The kid didn't want to listen. The dad explained to the kid, probably, because by his actions you can tell, that he had taught the kid the difference between right from wrong and that actions have consequences, and the kid decided to ignore it. Guess what? I'm betting the dad's not paying his legal fees and is saying, yeah, throw him in jail. He did it. He'll learn his lesson one way or another. A lot of us have had to do that through our lives, me included. I've made boatloads of mistakes in my life, okay? And I had to pay the consequences for them, you know, some by bad decisions, some by bad luck, okay? But all of them ultimately came down to me, not somebody else. It wasn't Ford's fault that I had a car accident, okay? It wasn't the state's fault that I fell down off the side of a cliff. No, those were my accident. My actions had consequences. When we get into an SHTF situation, think about this. All the people that you know right now, everybody, preppers, non-preppers, your kids, your neighbors, your teacher, your boss, whatever it is, all of them are going to make decisions. And all of them are going to face the consequences of those decisions. But how many people are going to instantly blame somebody else? Now, sure, there are certain situations where the blame does fall on somebody else. Joe Biden and this current economy, I don't control that. I have no control over the prices at the grocery store. I can control what I do, whether or not I'm going to spend this outrageous amount of money or if I'm going to do something different. But no, the one that is responsible for it is all the members of Congress, both parties, and Joe Biden, okay? Because they're the ones that made the stupid decisions that got us into this crazy inflationary environment, okay? I have no choice whatsoever in the war in Ukraine. I have no choice whatsoever in the war in the Middle East right now. Is it affecting me? Sure. Cause and effect again because of the support we're giving to Ukraine and the idiotic decisions of Washington that caused my grocery prices to go up, okay? Because of the idiotic decisions out of Joe Biden not supporting Israel, we're having the risk of terrorism go up around the world because of groups like Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran, go figure, okay? I don't have any control over it, but I may have to deal with the consequences. Now, when it comes down to a situation that we have to deal with in an SHTF situation, inaction also causes you to deal with the consequences. You could be like my neighbor that I told you about. Why do you plant a garden? You can just go buy it at the grocery store. And when there's no food and he comes over to my house and asks, I'm going to say, well, you told me before, why plant a garden? Go to the grocery store. But there isn't one anymore. Your lack of action has consequences, okay? Things like that. When the band of marauders comes walking down your house, knocks on the door and says, give me everything you got, and you're going, I don't have anything to protect myself. That was your lack of action that led to the consequence. You're going to have to deal with it, okay? And you could go on and on. There's all this talk about these coronal mass ejections that we're supposed to have today. And of course, you've got all these people paranoid going, oh my God, it's going to knock out the power to the world. I'll believe it when I say it, okay? But on the minuscule chance that that actually happens, if you don't have light tonight, who's responsible for that, okay? This is the thing. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to get a rude awakening for not realizing that their actions or lack of actions have consequences, and they're going to try to blame somebody else. And I guarantee you that when food gets scarce or power ain't there or water or anything like that, they're going to blame you. How many times have y'all heard preppers are hoarders? Oh, you went to the store and bought everything. And as I've said many times, gee, if you wanted that can of Raviolios, maybe you should have gone to the store earlier than I did. Okay? Yeah, my actions have consequences too. The fact that I do prep, the fact that I do have food and water and ammunition and power and security and yada da da da. The consequences that I will deal with is I will eat, I will have water, I will have power. I will know if a bad guy is anywhere near my house, and he's going to have a real bad day because of it. Okay? Those are the consequences of my actions. All those people that say prepping's a waste of time, maybe it is. Maybe I die and everything I've stored never gets used. It's possible. There's plenty of preppers that have died between the time they started and today, okay? And maybe they never needed to use it for any sort of catastrophic event. Maybe it was just a personal SHTF. Okay? They used some of it, I guarantee, because I use some of mine. I mean, I eat my stored food. I have medicines and rope and, God knows what, go out to the range and fire off some ammo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I use the stuff too, okay? It's nice when Mrs. P says, honey, we need this, my answer is, hang on, I'll be back in 2 minutes, and I go to the pantry or the closet or the shed or the garage or wherever I have that particular item stored, and I go get it. Not, oh crap, let's put it on the list for the next time we go to the store. All right. Again, actions have consequences. Gee, she asks me for something. The consequence is I don't have to spend 3 gallons of gas going to the store and an hour of my time running back and forth. I can spend 2 minutes of my time and go here. Okay. This is what we all need to understand. We need to teach at least our children that their actions have consequences, good and bad. Your feelings don't mean shit. I don't care if you support the Palestinians. That's fine. I don't agree with you, but that's fine that you do it. But the second that you go and interfere with somebody else's life, the second you go and damage property, try to tear down a statue, beat somebody up, whatever, then your actions have consequences. You block the road, your action. I'm sorry you got hit by a car, sucks to be you, okay? You shouldn't have been sitting in the middle of the road. No, as much as the law would say that it's the car driver's fault because the pedestrian has the right of way, I'm sorry, you were sitting in the middle of the road and I didn't see you. We might have an interesting time in court, okay? Maybe I win, maybe I lose. But this is the deal. We need to be better than all the snowflakes out there who think that their actions don't have any consequences. We know Mother Nature. We know the laws of survival, okay? That whatever I do is going to have some sort of repercussion, whether on me, whether on somebody else, but somehow, some way, every single thing I do, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? Law of physics. If I don't brush my teeth, guess what? My teeth are going to fall out, okay? If I don't wash my pits, guess what? I'm going to stink. Yeah, every single thing you do has a consequence. It's about damn time all these little peons out there who think that they're more important than everybody else realize that. Pinball out.